We are infatuated with the views and the likes on a post and the follower count. I know people who have hundreds of thousands of followers who make no money.
How do you make money from Instagram? You already have the attention, people watch your reels, reply to your stories, but almost none of that turns into actual revenue.
70 to 80% of the time, you should have a CTA. I have figured it out on my own because I've made 4,000 videos.
He's done videos for clients that have done hundreds of thousands of views, $50,000 bootcamp launches, and every weekly newsletter he sends generates sales on autopilot. If you have an audience on Instagram, but you're not making money, you're probably making this mistake.
You're probably not using the PSA story framework. Every time I do it, it has 4x outlier.
He breaks down his selling system into a simple 3-step framework, and he walks through his funnel piece by piece.
If you go on your Instagram analytics, your insights for a post, their most recent update lists the engagement in order of how important it is for being recommended to a new audience. Comments are still ranked pretty high.
By the end, you'll have a funnel you can set up this week, no matter the size of your audience. Your revenue per view ratio on that is probably very good.
It's more than $1 a view.
This is incredible. So Gannon, we've got a big topic today, how to make money from Instagram.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of people that build big followings and don't make any money.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
They usually chase brand deals as the next best step, and then that turns into an unreliable marketing stream or income stream. So I help them sell their products. And people who do sell products, they're just like, I know I sell them, I just don't know how I sell them. And I'm like, well, we have to figure that out. So that's why they hire me.
So you turn the attention from Instagram
Correct.
into actual revenue and sales.
Yeah, and also being able to like visualize what it looks like and how to do more of what's working, because people just don't know.
I think a lot of people, even who make that leap to products, are then like, I don't know, I just kind of mentioned it in a story or something else and it made some money. And so it doesn't feel sustainable or reliable. Yeah. Like, how do you approach that?
I mean, most people, I hate to say it, like they just get lucky.
Yeah.
And they just continue like riding that luck wave. And then when things run out, they just like, well, this doesn't work anymore. Let me go for more brand deals. The way that we approach it is just like, how do we make everything personalized at scale, right? So like, if I know somebody has a specific problem, I need to get that out of them, have them tell me, and then recommend a solution. Because the way that I kind of explain it is like, if this is a menu at like a diner, you have 40,000 different, like a New Jersey diner, for example, right? Or a New York diner, you have like 40,000 different combinations of things. And if, I use the example of like being on a road trip. Like you're on an 8-hour road trip from like Florida to like upstate New York. You stop in New York City or like somewhere in New Jersey, and it's like, I'm starving and I don't know what I want. And the fact that this has 40,000 things on it is not making my taste any better. And I give the analogy of like a waiter or a waitress coming over and asking like, what can I get you? You not knowing what you want. And then the waiter asking, well, what do you like? What are you in the mood for? So instead of the waiter recommending right off the bat, like the specials on the menu, it's taking into consideration what this person likes. Because if they're like, you should get this salmon and you don't like seafood, it's just gonna make you even more mad. So that's kind of the logic we're taking to this. Like, even if you have 1 or 2 products, you still have a menu, and you need to get that menu item in front of the right person to help them make that decision, because they don't know what to buy. They just need help.
Yeah,
and that's where you come in.
I'm excited to dive into that. Before we do that, what are some examples of clients that you've had? Maybe let's do 2 things. Let's talk about clients that you've had, and who you've served. And then maybe separately from that, you can give some examples of the types of income that you've seen creators achieve, like following to income levels.
It's crazy. And just like being able to see this behind the scenes and just seeing how how these businesses operate is just so like eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
How they typically work, a lot of the clients that we work with are like educational based, so like course, cohort, membership, community. They're typically doing like $250,000 to like $500,000 in sales a year.
Okay.
A lot of that's brand deals, or they want to launch a product and they see like, oh, this person made $1.2 million or $1.5 million, and like I want to do the same thing. And it's just like, we can try to get you there, but you have to understand that like, this, when you're launching something or releasing something to like your audience, the fundamental like thing that you're trying to achieve is like, how do I get this person not to like pay me money, but to trust me enough that I'm the right person to help them solve this problem? And people are just not good at that, because they take this like shotgun approach where it's like, I have 800,000 people in my audience. Let me just pitch the same thing to everybody and see who buys, right? Shout out to Brennan Dunn, by the way.
Yes, he's great at personalization and all of that.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Brennan is when I was early on starting Kit, he was my developer friend who was in the GitHub repository checking to see if the freelance developers that I hired were doing good commits.
Wow.
So,
well, that's before everybody was on GitHub, and now you have Cloud Code and just pushing absolute nonsense, which is I'm guilty of that. So.
Which is what you're doing. So what I'm trying to get a sense of is if I have 10,000 followers and a targeted offer, and that's really like, is it something where it's like, hey, you could be making $5,000 a month?
Yeah.
Or 50,000? Like, what's the scale that?
Yeah, it works. I mean, like what we do with selling, so we use ManyChat, which we'll get into, is like you have a really good opportunity, number one, to get somebody to buy into a lower ticket product right off the bat. Like if you're thinking about selling a $2,500 course or a $10,000 service in the DMs, it's just not going to happen. Right? Like no one's going to take out their credit card. It's like that. What was it? Kayak maybe? They did a commercial where it's like, I'm too scared to make this decision. It's like 3 like millennial Gen Z people are like trying to make a big decision to purchase on a phone. And they just won't do it. Right. So like anything really over like maybe a few $100s in our case, like we work really well with like $47 offers. It works really well in the DMs, but anything above that, like you just have to get them over to email. And then email is what sells them.
Okay, so what we're focused on initially is getting that attention on Instagram and then translating it into...
Yeah, and all the clients we work with, they're really good at getting attention.
Yeah.
But like we don't solve the attention problem, but I have kind of figured it out on my own because I've made 4,000 videos, you know, so it's gonna, like so something has to work after you make 4,000
I want to dive
videos.
into that a bit later, but for now, let's focus on this conversion process.
Yeah.
So we've got the board up here.
Yeah.
What should we be drawing to
dive into? Draw 3 boxes, right? So draw a box up here, one down here, and just
we go
like rectangles.
Big or small?
Yeah, go wide, and we can just like brainstorm these as time goes on. I couldn't have done it better myself. Look at this. Yeah,
professional right here.
That's right.
I'm just trying to get on your level.
Yeah. So this represents it's like a funnel essentially. So you have 3 steps of like what we do and what I recommend people do. Is your top of the funnel is just like all of your free stuff. So so just write free, right? So this is your lead magnet. This is your newsletter. Anything that you give away for free of value.
Okay.
Right? Second is segment.
Okay.
So just write segment in that one. It turns into an acronym that people think, oh, does that mean what I think it means? And it's like, no, it means free segment, and that upsell is the last one.
Okay.
So FSU, it's definitely not, you know.
Not what you think.
It's not what you think. It's definitely not what you think. That's not a retention play either. So like it goes from free segment to upsell. So everything you give away for free turns into an opportunity to ask questions to your audience, right?
Okay.
So free is when somebody's on a road trip, they come into your restaurant, and they're like, I know you have food. I know you can help me not starve on this road trip. And then the segment question is when the waiter or waitress comes over and asks, what do you like? What do you enjoy, right? So there's good ways to ask questions, and then there's bad ways to ask questions. We can talk more about that too.
Do you want to dive into that now, or we'll come back to it?
Yeah, we'll come back to it. So like upsell is just giving somebody an offer. And I say upsell, but like upsell is usually just like a recommendation. So you can do FSR if you're not salesy. People don't like being salesy. So upsell's technically not like, hey, you bought this for 100, buy this for 200. It's just, you got this for free, check this out as a next step, right? So segment, when we're thinking about segmenting questions, we love open-ended questions.
Okay.
So we want to get the most accurate data from our audience for a few different reasons. And we'll talk more about ManyChat and like how this plays in. But ManyChat gives you the opportunity, and for those who like are watching this and you're like, I don't know what ManyChat is, it's just if you've ever seen somebody tell you to comment on a post.
Comment this word.
And you get this resource. They're like, how you do that? It's just ManyChat, basically. Most cases, ManyChat.
You can do it through Facebook Business Manager as well in a basic
you can do it for ads. You can do it for it works on Facebook, it works on Instagram, TikTok kind of.
Okay.
And then
and then I think people do it manually on LinkedIn.
People do it manually on LinkedIn.
Which tells you that it's valuable enough of a thing to do that people believe it's worth doing.
I just think that these companies don't want to expose their API data for whatever reason, but I think, for people who want to run businesses, it's just a no-brainer. It's absolutely insane.
Okay, so we've got open-ended questions.
Yeah, so the reason why open-ended questions are great is because, if you ask somebody a multiple choice question, which is like what we do typically in a type form, you're only going to get 4 different responses.
So are you a designer, a developer, or whatever? Yeah.
But it's like, those are like radio dial questions that you can ask, but you can also ask questions like, what do you need help with the most? And if you keep that open-ended, what you can do in ManyChat is you can actually look at all of the responses that people gave you, export it as a CSV file, send it over to like your copywriter and be like, this is all the responses that we have from our team or from people who went through it. And we need to update the copy in our sales page, our content. But it also, if you give somebody the opportunity to tell you their life story, they will tell you their life story. So, but the more data we get, the better we can go into the upsell. So essentially like what's happening here is like, I can draw this too.
Go for it.
But with ManyChat, you have, this is a nice marker. I love this.
We love a good marker aficionado.
This is very small, but you have an I/input bucket, then you have an O/output bucket. So typically what happens when you create these automations in ManyChat is you have these input and output fields. So if I ask you what your biggest struggle is, if you say anything to do with revenue, you're going to get put into the revenue bucket, right?
Okay.
So when you ask these questions, like as soon as you ask the question, this input jar opens up.
Okay.
And it stays open until whatever duration you set for. Usually it's 30 minutes. You can do 12 hours. But whatever you say gets put into that jar. And then it gets sent over to Claude. And then Claude categorizes them in that output. And then you can send a conditional message based off that.
Okay.
So it's a little abstract. We can dive more.
So in this, because I think most people are used to segmentation where they're just like, are you A, B, and C or that's what this is a lot more advanced. You're saying actually for 30 minutes. Is that what you recommend? Is a 30-minute window?
So, I mean, it defaults to 30 minutes, but the issue with that is like I think of it like a train station, right? So like the 30-minute window in ManyChat says, if this person does not respond within 30 minutes, the train leaves the station. It's not listening for their response anymore. The jar closes. So Meta has a 24-hour rule where if they respond after 24 hours, it's not actually part of the automation. So they can't, beyond 24 hours, engage in an automation anymore, which
prevents you from doing mass marketing or like Meta's worried about people using it for spam or something else.
Exactly. So I usually we default this to 12 hours, but if people respond before that, it just pushes them along in the automation.
Okay, so it's just looking for a response.
It's just listening, basically until the timer goes up. But whatever they say goes into the output, and then Claude interprets that input and then classifies them into an output. So we can dive more on that because I know it's a little.
So basically, what's happening is
it's like a sorting hat in Harry Potter.
This is going in, and then we're just going to have that circle for Claude. And then that's going to go into whatever the output is. That's going from there, and the output is the response back.
So like you already kind of know like what your outputs are, right? You know, like if you're going to create this as a multiple choice question, you have radio dials of like A, revenue, B, growth, client acquisition, whatever it is. But you give those radio responses to Claude, and then you have Claude just categorize it for them. But the benefit of doing it this way is that you'll get more accurate responses, and then you can use the actual language that your customers are using, and then use it for other things.
Because you can use this, exactly as you're saying, one-off to help segment that one subscriber. But then you can zoom out a level and go up to the abstract level and be like, okay. 500 people went through this. What are they talking about?
I mean, we can talk about like what we did for Adrian and the camera example, right? So like this is like it's camera like cinematographer style.
So for anyone who doesn't know, what's Adrian's content?
Adrian is a content creator who teaches other content creators how to like make cinematic videos. So he's shooting on like a $5,000 camera, but now he's shooting on his phone. So he's just helping people make things cinematic. He was a music video director, very deep in that scene. So he had this LUT pack, which is basically a filter that you put on a video to make it look nice and cinematic. And those LUTs were for different cameras. So he had one for a Sony camera. He had one for the handheld Pocket 3. And he kept making videos about the Pocket 3. And
probably because he thought that, this is what most like the everyman creator is probably using.
Because price point wise, it's more accessible to that audience. But we went through, we asked the question, so we had like the free, he would post content about it and then he would drive to a sales page. But what we did was we asked them what camera they were using and then we sent them to a sales page for that offer.
For that camera.
So instead of going to like the menu again, right? Like 40 different things on a menu, you just go to the particular thing you want based off of what we know about you. So he kept making videos about the Pocket 3 and we realized that only 8% of his audience was using the Pocket 3. So I'm like, dude, make more videos about the Sony. There's 43% of your audience right now who's using a Sony camera. The other like half is using an iPhone. So if you want to sell more Sony LUTs, just make more Sony videos. And he did. and it crushed. I'm
Right.
like, okay. So it's not just like, now we tag this person in Kit that they use a Sony camera. It's, we know that 43% of our audience uses a Sony camera, so now we can make better content decisions. So it's like macro and it's micro, or macro,
yeah, so that would be
micro.
an example of an open-ended question is like, what kind of camera do you use?
Yeah.
And so I can just pull it out and I can type in whatever else and
yeah. And
and
the typing like of the experience of that is much better than just clicking like A, B, C, or D.
Yeah.
It just makes it seem more human. But people just aren't familiar with like
okay, because
how that works.
ManyChat will happily let you
you
choose
can,
A, B, C, or D, and you're saying don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to set it up that way, but we use Cloud because we want to make it seem conversational. Like people don't know they're talking to an automation. It's
Is
really
that the
crazy.
same like across all of your clients?
Yeah, we don't use multiple choice questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we said like good versus bad.
Yeah.
Is that good versus bad questions, or like open-ended? Like, can we make a list of like do this, not that?
Yeah. So there's things that are good about open-ended questions, and then there's things that are bad about open-ended questions. But there's also good ways to ask an open-ended question and the bad way to ask an open-ended question.
Yeah, let's dive in on that part of it.
All right. So you like whenever we're asking somebody a question, we're trying to figure out like where are they trying to go, right? So
what should I write down?
Yeah. So like, what are your goals in the next like 6 to 12 months? Goals and timeline.
Yep. There we go.
I mean, it's like that's pretty much like what we're doing. Like as the main segmenting question, right? We can ask other.
So what's an example?
Like, accessory.
Would
questions.
you say as generically as like, what's the, if Adrian were to use a goals and timeline question, what would it be?
It would be like, why do you want to make cinematic videos? Like, is it for audience growth? Do you want to look more professional because you want to?
So would a lot of these questions start with why?
Yeah, it's usually a why question.
Yep.
Yeah. Why is more open-ended than like what, right? Like what do you use versus why do you use it?
Yep.
Or why?
Okay, so I'm gonna go.
They're like not necessarily bad, but it's not gonna help somebody make a decision.
Right.
Ultimately. Right?
Yep. That makes sense.
At least for like a higher ticket offer, right? Like if you're selling a $39 LUT, like what camera do you use? Of course, it's gonna help me make a decision, but it's like.
Okay, so you might would you ever use both? Like in this case?
Well, yeah, I mean, we do this for like applications for what we do. So I run automations for applications in my DMs, and I'm always like, what platforms do you use? What's your current revenue? But like, why are you trying to figure out ManyChat right now?
So then we're gonna have a flow then that starts with what camera do you use, or why are you trying to do that? And then later on it's gonna ask other questions.
Yeah. So you're basically like for lower ticket, I think it's fine to ask just like what types of questions. But if you're going for you sell a service or you sell a course where somebody's gonna have to spend more than $100, you want to get them talking.
Right.
And then it's like a sales call, right? Like you're not going to just be like, what do you use? What do you use? What do you use? Like, all right, cool. I can recommend you this. It's just, no, it's like, why are you here? Why are you here?
Yeah.
Like there's something that caused you to trigger this automation. What was it? Tell me what it was. And then as soon as we know that information, we then pitch everything else based off of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so then let's go to the free side for a minute.
Yeah,
like,
we can talk about content.
What's the free content that gets people to actually engage and to start this funnel?
Yeah, I have this like PSA style story that I use all the time where it's like, PSA, if you have this problem, you're probably making this mistake. I used to make this mistake and I got this result by changing it.
Okay.
But I'm not telling somebody how I changed it. In order to learn how I changed it, they have to get the free thing.
Comment this word.
Reply with this word, comment this word, and it goes from there.
Oh, because you said reply because it's also
it's a story. Yeah, it could be an Instagram story. It could be like a DM. It could be a comment on a post. And it's typically PSA. But like if there's like one framework that I try to teach, it's like, in order to get somebody to go through this automation, like you have to tell them to do it. It sounds stupid, but people don't do it. It's like, I just have this automation and then they bury it. Like in journalism, it's called burying the lead, right? So like your call to action is your lead in your caption. So it should be the first thing people see.
And as a marketer, I use the correct lead there, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's
Don't bury the lead, not that's LEAD. Yeah,
that's a journalism lead, not a marketer's lead.
So like you want to have the call to action in the first sentence of the video, and like typically what most people do, like if you draw a retention chart, I don't know, you probably can on this side, right? So like just draw like an X and Y axis.
Yeah, perfect. Something like that.
Yeah, it's good. So like as time goes on in the video, like somebody might They start watching here. So like just say that this is duration of the video.
Yep.
And then as time goes on, there's less and less people that are still on the video.
Right.
So what people do is they're like, let me just put the call to action at the end because I don't want to seem salesy, but I still want people to go through it. It's just like, well, now you have 5% of your audience seeing it. So like,
right.
Yeah. So what you can do is kind of like flip this. So this is the hook right here, right? And then you can say, by the way, if you want to learn more about this, just comment the word X at any point in the video and I'll send you more information. And then you just continue with that tutorial.
So we're going to get the CTA early. You said in the first sentence.
Yeah, I mean, I usually go like hook, transition with like a short CTA, and then the rest of the video.
Okay, so you said hook, transition, then we're gonna have a smaller CTA.
Basically, and CTA.
So we're gonna do a CTA,
and then I just write like meat of the content. I just write meat. Just the bulk of the content.
And then another like a full CTA, and this is gonna be like a bigger CTA. Okay, give me a script of a video. Like what's one that you've done? What would the hook be?
Yeah, I mean, I do breakdowns of like creators and like how they run their business. So it's like I spent the last, 36 hours of my life reverse engineering how Nathan Barry runs his social media profile. And I learned that, if you do the same thing that Nathan does, then pay attention because this is what I would do, right? So it's like you kind of set stakes and you tell people what they're going to learn. And if they know who you're talking about, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, so like he runs a similar type of business that I do. Let me pay attention. And then you can say, by the way, at any point, if you're like, I want to learn this exact breakdown because I only have 3 minutes to teach it, I have a full YouTube video. Comment the word tube and I'll send it over to you. And then you go through like the full thing. And then you're like, again, if you want the full tutorial, I have 3 minutes. Like I can't do this in 3 minutes, but comment the word tube and I'll send it over to you. Yeah.
Okay. So that's that light touch on the CTA and then a deeper touch on from there. What about from the storytelling side of things? Like what makes a difference in actually retaining people through this, the stories that you're telling or the narrative there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the process of writing one right now for the keynote that I'm giving.
Okay.
So I have a partnership with a company who just released a new like presentation remote. And I'm like, how do I tell the story of like this being my first keynote and being like nervous because I've never talked in front of this many people, but also like the features of this remote, how it's going to help me prepare for this keynote. So I'm thinking about like, you have to set the stakes of like, what's actually the problem here that we're trying to solve and how are we going to solve it?
Okay.
And it's like before, during, and after. But it's more than just like what people do is they'll like tell the story and be like, this happened and this happened and this happened and then this happened and then this happened. So it's like, oh, I have a presentation and then I got this remote and then I presented because the remote was cool and I did a good job and that's it. It's like, well, no, it has to be deeper than that. It's like
you need tension in it.
There's something in the story that you have to talk about that will get somebody to continue wanting to watch to see what happens. So like an example of that is like, I have my first keynote. Cool. Oh, I am anxious about this and I've never did a keynote in front of 500 people before and I don't know what I'm going to do. So it's like, I have a keynote, but I have this problem. And then I want to solve this and you're going to come with me to solve this problem. So it's, this happened, but this is going on and we have to get somewhere else.
So in that, if we were to map it out, because I think a lot of people are going to fall into the and
of course.
Storytelling. So if we were to contrast
for tutorial based, it's definitely going to be and, but you want to somehow set the stakes of these.
So it's like, we're like this and this and this. So what you're saying is that we're going to say like, this happened, but this, therefore, and.
Yeah. So like an example of this and like what I've tried to get good at is doing this tutorial based.
Okay.
Right. So like, how do I teach a tutorial, but also set stakes for why somebody should watch?
Okay.
So an example of that is like how I structure almost all of my videos where I do breakdowns. It's like I spent 96 hours doing this and researching how they run their business. And I think there's something they can fix. And then you explain what they're currently doing well, and then you go into like what they could fix. So like the but is the transition there, right?
Let's use an example of this because 2 days ago, We got to hang out
That's right.
in the mountains of Idaho, and you came flying with me.
That's right. I flew the plane.
You flew the plane.
I definitely flew the plane.
To be clear, we have video evidence of you flying the plane.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So you made an Instagram video about this. Most people would say, I was going to Boise and I really like airplanes. And so I thought maybe I'd reach out to Nathan, and then it worked out and I got to go flying.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, well, thanks for sharing. You could have kept it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool, but like,
it's like, I'm happy for you, or the response you get is like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
I think
your video does not follow that format.
No. So like, I actually think I could have done a better job with the video. The reason why I like the word "but" is because I think, like, this might sound woo-woo, but it's an opportunity to like express who you are and like what you've gone through, right? So like for the presentation, the keynote, it's like, I'm about to give a keynote, but I have anxiety. Like I'm not comfortable on stage. We're going to see what happens. And then it's like, for the video that we did on the plane, it's like, I'm about to go to Idaho, but I don't want to just go to Idaho.
Right.
I have an opportunity to do something with the CEO of a company who owns a plane. So let's see if we can get on the plane. Yep. And like, that's kind of setting the stakes, but it's also,
and then you
like,
built up to it, like, is it going to work? You know, of like, you're like, oh, he liked my post. He followed me.
He liked my post. He followed me. His team reached out, and then like he picked me up at the hotel, and then he started wheeling the plane out. I'm like, oh, okay, this is happening. Yeah. This is not fake. No, this is real. But yeah, like when you use "but," it's just an opportunity to like share with people like what's happening and how you're thinking. And like there's ways to do it that are like not as like deep and personal, that you don't have to go crazy with like, you know, telling people about your personal life. But it's just an example of like showing how you think, right? So the tutorial example is like, I studied this person's funnel, but based on my work with clients, I think it could actually be a little bit better. So let me show you what's working and show you what I would change and why I would change it. And then you just do that.
Something that stood out to me in your video is the way that you made it like so much of a personal story. And it wasn't just one, but it was like, because the payoff was, oh, you're actually going flying.
Yeah.
But then you had the later of like, but it's actually bumpy. Like we're flying over.
Bumpy. I'm flying the plane.
Yeah, like, I love the line where you're like, my man. I said I want to fly in your plane.
Are you sure? You sure?
Now fly your plane. You did great. Everyone's wondering.
Thank you.
Watching. Gannon's a great pilot.
On the way back, you know, it was a little bit better, but you know, we did all right.
You're weaving that all the way through.
Yeah.
If we take that video is exactly 60 seconds long.
Yeah.
Why is it 60 seconds long?
I don't think it needs more than that. Okay. I think it's like, you know, what is the way that I want to come across with my audience? And like, what do I want to share? And I think the video is more about how I'm willing to just put myself out there to do side quests than it is of just like, hey, let me message the CEO and get on a plane.
Right.
It's like, no, this is what happens when you just put things out in the universe and just see what happens. So it's more about that than it is about like Gannon was on a plane in the middle of Idaho, right? It's like, we don't know. Yeah, so like 60 seconds, the way that I kind of like think about videos is like, if I write this and I read it in my head like 15 times, it's always, what can I remove? What can I remove? What can I remove? And if the video still makes sense, I remove it. But if I'm like, I can remove this sentence and the video is still good, it's gone. But if it's there and I'm like, this doesn't really contribute to like whatever plot is in my head. Like if I was telling this at a dinner table, like somebody would be like, yeah, you probably don't need to like mention that. Like, they would never say that, but it's like, what contributes to the emotion and like what's happening in this video? And if it doesn't contribute to anything, then just get rid of it. Yeah, it's like giving yourself a rubric. But if you do it 4,000 times, it's going to make sense eventually. But that's just how my brain works at this point.
So then how do you know when a video is done or a script is done?
Yeah, it's when there's nothing else. This is like a quote. If I wish I put this in like my senior year, like high school quote, but it's like, something is done not when there's nothing else left to add, but when there's nothing else left to remove. Right? I forget. That's an artist quote. I forget.
Antoine de Saint-Exupéry.
Probably. Yeah.
However you say his name.
Sure. I give him credit.
Yeah, but that's such an important thing. Yeah. Because when I make Instagram content, this is why yours works and mine doesn't. Is I just like rattle something off. I'm like, that's pretty good. Post it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it works for some people, but I think like it's the people who have done like the actual scripting so many times, or they just consume so much where they just know kind of like what's the format that I need to follow here. And I feel like I can pick up a camera and just yap, like, which is like the most popular format of videos right now, but I'll still have to cut things out. right? So like, I'm not trying to fulfill a 60-second video. I'm just trying to cut things down to where it makes sense. And it just so happens that it is 60 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so what else, if we're talking about the free side or attention or all of that, is there anything else that we haven't covered that's important?
Yeah, I mean, it's really like, I think the big thing on the free side is that your stories are going to get the most engaged people.
Okay.
So like, if you
and
think
you don't
about, like,
mean storytelling, you mean
no, just your actual
Instagram stories, the
yeah,
feature.
Yeah. So like, if there's anything that somebody's going to do today, it's take a selfie, delete all of your Instagram stories right now, or archive them, post that selfie, put PSA, if you have this problem, you're probably making this mistake. If you want to solve it, I solved it this way. And if you want to learn how to do it, we'll go through that.
Diving into this. What marker am I using? So we're doing an Instagram story.
Yeah.
This vertical box.
And you can draw like a self-portrait here. And it's a Nathan selfie.
There we go.
There it is. Oh, look at that.
It got style. And so we're just going PSA.
Yeah, big PSA on top. And it's
then,
like, if you have X problem, if you're currently dealing with this, you're probably making this mistake. So it's like, if you're not making money on Instagram or you're not making money through your Instagram story, you're probably not following the PSA format. And people are like, what's the PSA format, right?
And are you saying?
No, it's just the video. So like, or it's a picture. So it's just like, this sentence would go here, right? So like, if you're making this mistake, or if you have this problem making this mistake, and then the next sentence, which if you want to write out, you can, would be, I got this result by following a new format. Like this would be like, I solved it by doing this.
And so then we're going, so we're just like,
I would say credibility too. Like, I solved this problem by changing this. Yeah, and like result and credibility plus like what was the method behind doing it. But also, yeah, like vague, like very vague.
Method, there we go. And we're going vague. The result said in a way that gives you credibility. The method stated in a way that's vague.
Yeah.
And so then reply?
Yeah, just it's like call to action. It's like, I solved it by doing this. If you want to learn how to do it, and then that is about the same size as the PSA. So you're just like CTA right here. I usually do like a different color, like yellow background, black text, whatever it needs to be. But
and the CTA is just, if you want to learn how to do it, reply tube if you want the full tutorial. If somebody who has like, I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but this typically for me reaches like 15 to 20% of my followers. Or it'll get 50. Well, it might not all be my followers because some people will send it to other people, but it'll be like roughly a 20% margin of like what my follower count is. So this will be like 30,000 views on this. If you have an audience on Instagram, but you're not making money, you're probably making this mistake.
Yeah, you're probably not using the PSA story framework.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used it to make X result.
It got 30,000 views and made me $1,500 in 24 hours.
Yeah.
If you want to learn what I'm talking about, just reply with this and I'll send it over to you. That's a lead magnet. And then you collect name and email. You send them to whatever page you have the tutorial on. It could be like a Loom video, televideo, whatever it is. And then you follow up 20 minutes later.
The free side, this could be reels, this could be stories.
Carousel posts.
Posts. Yeah. How many times, like in all of your content, how many times would you weave in one of these things?
A lot.
Okay.
I can say it. I can do it often. I think because people just have come to know me for being like that automation ManyChat guy. So like, it's not gonna like turn anybody off. If I had to give somebody a number, probably like 70 to 80% of the time, I think you should have a CTA in all of your content. Obviously, some of my videos are like more personal, so I'm not going to be like, "Hey, I just proposed to my girlfriend. You know, comment wedding if you want to like, see how we're planning our wedding." Like, we just don't do that.
So something else I want to talk about is there's this idea on a lot of platforms that if you send traffic off platform, or if you do something that is like selfish to benefit you, then the platform will penalize you. Yeah. But if I look at anyone's profile, and let's say, I don't know, there's a nice little their face up here. And then, I don't know, they've got 10K subs for followers, right? If we have a grid of posts and one of them, I'm scrolling through it and, it's like 2,000, 3,000, 2,000, whatever. And then this one right here has 50,000 views.
Yeah.
There's like a 90% chance that this has a comment to DM automation.
100%. Yeah. It's actually 100% they do. Yeah. So like if you go on your Instagram, like analytics, your insights for a post, it'll actually, I think their most recent update lists the engagement in order of like how important it is for being recommended to a new audience.
Okay.
So it'll show like saves, sends, comments, likes, and I don't know. I think that might be it. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them. But like comments are still ranked pretty high. So like when you have a ManyChat automation turned on, it counts as a comment. And then when you reply back to their comment with a ManyChat automation, it doubles the amount of comments on the post.
It's wild that
So
works.
like people have said like it doesn't really have any effect on the content, but like why is it that every time I do it, it has like a 4x outlier? Like the data just tells me that whoever is saying that that doesn't make sense is just incorrect.
Yeah, and I mean, like I am a amateur student from a distance, and I'm like, this stands out ridiculously.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we were to like pull up my content right now, what you'd see is instead of 70 to 80% of content having a CTA, I'm probably 3 to 5%.
3 to 5%.
And so you probably think I'm insane, right?
Like, what would your CTA be? I mean, we can do like a masterclass, like roast of Nathan's content right now. Like,
I mean, there's a bunch of things that I could do.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of lead magnets and that kind of thing.
So like for your book, like what are you doing?
So CTA for the book.
Yeah.
So the book is The Ladders of Wealth.
Yeah.
Comes out December 8th.
Ooh.
Pre-order. Okay, so we could do a sample chapter.
Yeah.
I have a free email course on like how to grow your audience that I'm working on putting together. Any content I do about flywheels, I have like a library of 10 flywheels.
Yeah.
Those are kind of things that exist today.
So the goal is to eventually get somebody to pre-order or buy the book when it comes out, right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So who in your audience, like what are the groups of people in your audience who are best served from this book? Like entrepreneurs or like early career entrepreneurs?
Anyone, any entrepreneur. They could be early, probably early or mid stage.
Yeah.
Late stage, they're going to be like, honestly, the late stage they love frameworks. They love all of that. So entrepreneurs.
You can also like just poll your audience with your newsletter and just be like, where are you at in your career? Or like, you know, for me, it's like, I want to understand how you built Kit, and like maybe some of your past mistakes with your previous companies and like how I can not make those mistakes moving forward. But it's helpful for you to know like, why am I interested in this book, right? So if you talk about it in your content and you're like, hey, I'm releasing it on December 8th, if you want a free chapter of it, because now they have context of what the book's about. Now you know, like, how am I going to eventually get this person to pre-order it? Like, what is the information that I need from this person in order to pitch it properly? And it might just be like, what are your career goals? Like, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to like, you know,
so, but you can even
go
go fully open-ended. You could just say, what are your money related goals? Like, why do you want to start a business? And someone would be like, I don't. It's like, okay, fine. But
and then you could just like liquid code and be like, you mentioned that you didn't want to start a business, but you're here for my book. So like, what made you
What's up, man?
Like, how you doing? But that's basically what we do. So like, you know, even if your pre-order link is not open yet, you can still start building like that pre-order wait list.
Right.
And then just get whatever information you need from your audience of like, maybe it's that why question. And then you put that into a custom field in Kit, and then you just start every email off with that same line. So like if subscriber customer field equals or is like, you know, entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur, whatever it would be, it's how do we start the email off with that and then pitch them in the rest of the email the same way that everybody else gets that same email, right? So I think it's just about, like, you have to understand that people have more context than you realize after watching a video, and they've taken the action to request even more information. So people tend to over-explain in their ManyChat automations. They're like, I can't wait for you to see my tutorial. I'm going to cover X, Y, Z. I'm like, they know that. Like, you don't have to say it again. So they just want the thing,
right?
And you can just send it to them. They can register. So what I would do if I were you is I would add them to like a form in Kit, and then 5 minutes later, ask them like what they're looking forward to most about the book. Like, what are they trying to solve in their life right now that they think the book will help with? And then you take that information, add them to like what I call a phantom form. So it's a form that doesn't exist anywhere like on a website.
Publicly,
yeah. So we just use that to transfer data over and update their contact.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So let's go with another example. Let's say because my other world besides writing books is I run Kit.
That's right.
And I would like to get lots of creators to set up their email list on Kit. You've done a lot of content about Kit. You work with a lot of Kit customers. You bring us lots of customers.
That's right.
Thank you for that. What, if I was putting out content directly to promote Kit, and that's the sale that we're trying to make, is to get a creator to sign up either for a free or paid account. What's the flow that you would put together? Like type of like things we would emphasize on the free and then kind of the segmenting that we would do.
I think you're in a unique position because like you have the power to leverage the CEO thing, but you also don't want to step on like other people's toes and be like, why is the CEO of a company like telling me that what I'm doing is wrong? So you have to be
there's a line to walk
careful with that. I would do more like case studies, I think, but also kind of show like your way of thinking. Like if you were brought in to like consult with this creator on how they should run Kit, show them how they would do it. And what's going to happen is like people like that creator who might follow them. Like you're kind of leveraging their audience, but they might have people in their audience who are interested in like what they do and might have a similar business. Be like, oh shit, like Kit might be the thing that I want to try. That's what works for me. I think it's less about, I feel like the game you're playing on the content side right now is more like, documenting and like trying to connect more with the audience, which is good. But I don't know if it's going to create like incentivize people to start like maybe signing up for Kit.
Right.
Like,
and there's one thing that we care about and that's making money.
That's right.
From Instagram. And so that's something that would change. So what I hear you saying is you're noticing my content is about connection, about relevance, like all of those things. And you're like, great, happy for you, glad it's working. But if you want leads and you want
like,
revenue,
why do people use Kit? Because like, for me, it's like, I think it's the best UI UX experience. It's simple. It does exactly what I needed to do. And it has an integration with ManyChat. And it checks all the boxes for like what I need. But somebody else might be like, well, it has a creator network, and that's where I want to get those recommendations from. Or it allows me to sell products. It has liquid code, which is one of my checkboxes too. Right. So like, there's a balance between what do I do in my content that's going to help me connect with my audience. So like for me, it's like I was on your plane. Like it has nothing to do with ManyChat.
That was very much a connection post.
I don't care how many likes it gets. Like if it makes somebody like, I can post things on the internet and it'll eventually get me to a point where like you realize you can just do things. Shout out to Jay Yang.
Jay Yang. That's exactly what I was thinking. He comments. He's like, turns out you can just
tagged him in the I tagged him in the caption. But like for me, it's like 20% of that is connecting with the audience, and then 80% is like, what do I have to do in order to actually get people to pull the trigger? And the 80%, like if I had like, if these were all small boxes on this, like maybe there's like, I don't know, 3,000 boxes on here. Like, like 2,400 of them are like, this is sales content. Like I want people to hire me.
Right.
And the rest is like, how can I get people to understand that I'm a human being? Like, what's my first pin post on my Instagram profile?
What is it? What do you have?
Maybe you don't study my Instagram content.
I haven't.
It's the start here one, right? So like they understand who I am, like as a person. So like, it's not just like, hey, I have this service, you should buy it. It's like, I built this thing and here's why I built it. Because I have this background experience with like coming from a small neighborhood, low income, parents got foreclosed on. It's like, I started this business because all of that happened.
I mean, I should probably make one of those posts.
100%, right? It's part of your book. It's part of your book. So it's that. And then the second pin post is me proposing to my girlfriend. And then I don't have a third pin post because I'm like, those things are more important than the business, I feel like, obviously. But I can't tell you how many people have like just saved the start here post, and even like the picture of my fiance. I'm like, this is weird. Why there's so many people saving it? But I
because
think
they're actually probably trying to remember you as a person.
Yeah, and like there's so many comments in the start here, and it's that was not my intention with doing it, but it has just like helped people connect with me at a deeper level, because like at any point 50 new people can pop up in like this automation space, but why would somebody come to me?
Right.
So that's the message I'm trying to get across. And you can do that with a 70, 30, 80, 20 split.
Now you have 190,000 followers. So if we look at this,
that number's kind of crazy to say.
If we look at this grid, that was your profile, and we underline the follower count, right? There's a lot.
Yeah.
But you don't care about followers. Like that is not a metric. They're like truly matters.
I talked about this. My friend Tom Noski posted about it, and then I saw Jay post about it. He was like,
Jay Klaus?
Yeah, Jay Klaus. So he's like, more and more creators are becoming unpaid spokespeople for AI tools. And I'm like, why? Because the content just absolutely crushes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made a series, which I'm still doing because I think it's just fun to make. But I made a series for Claude called Claude Automations. Just like, what can I automate with Claude in terms of marketing? I mean, those videos do like at least 100,000 views every single one. I had one post get me like 20,000 new followers after just months of stagnation on my page. And I'm like,
Right.
I want to do more of this. Like, this is exhilarating. Like, I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I have 5,000 new followers from last night. And I'm just like, I'm paying somebody to edit these videos. Those videos are not making me money right now.
Mm.
They might in the future. Like, I've had, businesses reach out and companies reach out being like, hey, can we do a sponsorship for like our new integration with Claude or something? Like, we have a new MCP. And I'm like, sure. But
yeah, I mean, you've done a MCP video.
It's not what moves the needle for the business, right?
Yep.
It's attracting the wrong people. And then Tom made a post about it. He's like, my business, my content right now has never been performing worse. He's got like 460,000 followers or something. And he gets like, a good chunk of like maybe like 10K views a video. But compared to his old stuff, he's just not living up to like the content that he was posting.
Right.
But he's like, my business has never been doing better. And I'm like, we are infatuated with the views and the likes on a post and the follower count. And I know people who have hundreds of thousands of followers who make no money.
So we have this
like
idea, right, that views, now I'm like, how do you spell views? V-I-E-W? Yeah, V-I-E. Did I just get that wrong? Views equals revenue.
Yeah.
Revenue. I can't spell anymore. And so what you're saying, like what you're noticing over and over again is like...
It's not even close.
It's not
even close.
And so we see people where views are way up and revenue is down. And we see the inverse where views are way down and revenue is way up.
I feel like, for most people, when they have high views and they go broad, that's when the brand deals start getting big.
Yeah.
And I think they feel like they maybe deserve bigger brand deals because they have a bigger audience. You've talked to Justin. That's just not the case. Like, that's not how this works.
What can you deliver for the brand?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you might get the first one, but if the follow-ups.
But like, for me, it's like I'm willing to go deeper with an audience than I am to go like cast a wide net and just see who out of these people, is potentially a good fit. Especially when we charge so much money for our setups. It's like that person, like somebody wanting to learn how to set up a Claude skill is not going to spend 10 grand with me to build their ManyChat automations, right? But somebody who is like, oh, there's a new ManyChat pricing update and this person knows what they're talking about, or they did this for this other creator and that video might have 8,000 views, but it's made me like 30 grand.
Right.
So it's like, there's a trade-off here. And I think everybody's chasing views and they think by chasing views it leads to revenue, and it's never the case.
So what leads to revenue? Is it relevance? Like, what is the thing that has the most direct tie to revenue?
I think it's just like how deep you go on a topic and how you share, how you think about solving problems. Like, if you can prove that you have solved a problem that somebody has and you tell them exactly how you did it, I'd say at least in the service-based business, like those people don't want to pay to learn. They want to pay for somebody to do it for them. So that's what works for us. Like I'll make a video about like, this is what I would do if I were this person who's running ManyChat. And then that video might you see 180,000 views, 500,000 views, 5 million views on a video, like, oh, those videos probably crush. He's probably living lavish right now. I'm like, I made no money from those.
Right.
Then it's the video with 3,000 views where it's like, that paid for my wedding. So it's like, I'm trying to go deeper, share how I solve problems, and show up in front of the right audience. And then hopefully, typically what happens is like that person will message me or interact with the post, or somebody like that person will interact with the post. Okay,
so this is the example of like being very, very upfront about what you offer, the value you provide. I feel like a lot of creators, like they don't want to be salesy.
They're
so they're like,
secretive.
And so I'm going to hide the value that I provide to the world and all this.
I like that you bring this up because like what's happening here, it's like, it's all in private. Like Samir calls this like your private marketing world for your audience. So like what Colin and Samir do with like creator support, everything happens privately. So you don't know that they actually sell anything until you see it in a creator support video, or you go through a lead magnet and you're like, oh, wow, there's like so many different things that I can do here. But they're never like, hey, you should buy it's this $799 brand deal blueprint.
Right.
Because it's just like, they don't want to come off as salesy, but I actually think it's smart because nobody's just going to buy that from like,
Right.
maybe they have pull, so like they probably will get people to buy it. But
As a random aside, I met up with Samir when I was in Dubai.
Yeah.
We were talking about him switching over to Kit and all of that. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to do that, which is awesome. And then he's like, let me connect with the team to make that happen. They connect to the team and it's you.
I'm the team.
And I was like, oh,
they have an
it.
awesome team, like Cheyenne, who runs a lot of basically the full funnel. Like she's brilliant. She's awesome. I take very little credit for like what they
all
do.
the email stuff.
Yeah.
But it's fun to see, like you're behind the scenes for a lot of these creators.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing is you're putting out a video where you're saying, here is how I would break down. Like I studied this in detail, right? We've got the stakes, but here's what I noticed there should do better. I'm watching that video and then either I'm like, oh, I'm like a Colin and Samir or someone else, or I am them.
Yeah.
And so that results directly in clients. Is that right?
Yeah. They've been a client since I posted that video. The video has like 7,000 views. It's crazy.
That's a lot of revenue on your revenue per view ratio on that is probably very good.
It's more than $1 a view, like by a large sum. Yeah, it's probably like $3 a view.
Yeah, and so you think,
yeah. So like, I mean, for me, like, I don't know if this is like helpful for people, but like when I'm up in front of a whiteboard, just like by myself, breaking these things down, just like my alter ego. It's like I turn into a different person, like from when I'm outside. Like, and I can't do it in front of anybody else. Like even my fiance, I'm like, if you're gonna be home when I'm recording a video, you need to be outside on the balcony listening to your book because I don't want you to hear this. But the thing about those videos, it's like it all starts the same way. Like I started the Alex Hormozi video with like, Alex Hormozi just texted me, and it's an automated message from like his book launch. But I realized he has 3 million followers and doesn't use ManyChat. Therefore, I'm going to spend the next 96 hours of my life building him a strategy. Right. That's it. It's like Colin and Samir are some of the biggest creators in the creator economy, but they're not running ManyChat. Here's what I would do if I were running their ManyChat automations. And then I just break down like what products they sell, how they sell it, and then like how ManyChat plugs into it. And those videos do really well. One of them got like 800,000 views.
So I mean, that's the thing, right? We're talking about these videos have a very small number of views and result in a lot of revenue for your agency.
Yeah.
But then also sometimes they do a ton of views and get you a bunch of followers as well.
It's like the amount of like the people who I've like met on calls from just videos that I posted, like Near, who wrote Beyond Belief.
Yeah, he was a guest on the podcast.
He saw me from like the video that I did for this woman, Emily on the Brain. He's like, I'm releasing this book and it's not woo-woo. Like, I feel like you can help me, with this wait list and like promote the book launch. I'm like, I've been reading your content for years. Why am I on a call with you right now?
Yeah.
This is so weird. Who else? Like, Nick DiGiovanni's team.
Nick's a Kit customer as well.
I'm just like, dude, like, what is happening? I'm just like posting these videos, like 3 minutes of me talking in front of a whiteboard. And it's just like.
As a quick aside, I feel like Kit has gotten a lot of very impressive customers over the years. My kids are like, yeah, whatever. Wait, you have Chef Nick as a customer? And that's the one that
so
gets
funny.
Me street cred.
Yeah, he's doing the FIFA World Cup stuff right now. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. This is incredible. I'm going to change a bunch of things about what I'm doing. And I love seeing all the behind the scenes and everything else. So thank you for the masterclass.
Yeah, of course.
There's one more thing I want to ask you.
Sure.
But it's probably a conversation we should sit down for.
Sure. Sounds good.
You have completely transformed your life in the last 12 months. And I want to know, first contrast, what was life like before? What is it like now? And then let's dive into like, what did you do?
Yeah, I mean, I've been full-time as a creator since January 2024.
Okay.
And I like did the whole hustle thing where I'm like, if I can create and teach something, I'm going to turn it into a product and just sell it and see who buys it. And like that did okay. It got to a point where I was like, I'm proposing to my girlfriend. We live with her mom. We've been here for 7 years. I am full-time working for myself. She's a nurse. At some point, we're going to get the ball rolling, and move out and figure out how we're going to start our lives. And that required me to like really think seriously about how this is not just like every month we start from zero. How do we create like a recurring revenue stream?
Yeah.
And I had this idea of creating like an Instagram like community / coaching membership.
It's a pretty typical creator product.
Of course. So I text my friend Nana, who is hosting an event in New York. This is August of last year. And her husband is on Instagram. His name's Mark Brazil. He has the Open Residency podcast.
Okay.
And he started a company like, Gary Vee invested in it. So I'm like, super smart business guy. I'm like, I need to ask this guy questions of like what I should do. So I text Nana. I'm like, hey, I see you're hosting this event and Mark is going. Can I go to the event? And she's like, well, it's a female only event. So I'm like, I can't go. And she's like, no, I'd love to have you here. So like you can ask questions to Mark at the roundtable. And I'm like, perfect. I get to finally meet Mark after knowing you for years. And I'm like, I'm going to just put together this idea of like what I have. So I'm like, Mark, here's the context. I am just engaged. I need to figure out how to make recurring revenue. Here's 14 paragraphs of ideas. And I went last at the round table. I didn't make it 4 sentences in. And I mentioned like, I want to start this Instagram membership. I know how I'm going to price it. I know how I'm going to, where to host it. And he's like, you're an idiot. Like, you're so dumb. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I thought this was a good idea. So the context of that is that 5 or 6 months prior to that, I had a conversation with Nana Friday night on Zoom, 2 hours. And when your wife is on Zoom with somebody for 2 hours on a Friday night, of course you're going to know what's going on. So he knew what I built for Nana. So she was running automations on ManyChat and wanted to grow her kit newsletter. So we built out this like spider web of automations. And it crushed. Mm-hmm. And he obviously knew that because he's like, why are you talking to this guy on Zoom?
It's not a Friday night.
Yeah. And he's like, you should just do that. And I had no idea what that meant because I had never charged anybody for that. Mm. And I didn't know how to make like automations in ManyChat, like quote unquote sexy. It's like up to that point, I had been like storytelling and the videos were crushed and I was doing all right brand deals. I had grown my account up to that point to like 120,000 followers. And I'm like, there has to be somewhere I can like make this work. Like, I don't know if I'm going to talk about ManyChat. And I left that event and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to be at my mother-in-law's house for the next 7 years. And this idea popped in my head and I'm like, wait a second. What if I just, talked about what I would do if I ran somebody's ManyChat? Like, so, this is what I did for Nana for 2 hours on Zoom, but I'm like, I have to condense this for 3 minutes to 3 minutes. And my fiance is at a My Chemical Romance concert at MetLife Stadium. I'm driving home on the New Jersey Turnpike at 11:30 at night. And I text her. I'm like, I have this idea for a video. I'm not going to sleep until the video's on Instagram. I get home at 12. The video is Alex Hormozi texts me.
Which is a great hook.
It's a great hook.
And then it's an even better pay because it has credibility to it. And then it has the but that you were talking about where it's me like, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're like, wait, you're cool enough. You came across my feed. You're cool enough that Alex Hormozi is texting you. Oh, he's not texting you.
But you want to stick around to be like, what is this guy talking about? Why is he in front of a 100%. Giant whiteboard, the digital whiteboard, talking about like this funnel? So that video was 3 minutes on the dot. And it was like 5 before I cut it. And I'm like, what do I cut to get this out to 3 minutes? And it's 12:30 when I posted it. So I didn't do any edits besides just like throwing captions on and making it.
Okay, wow.
It's also very hard to put a horizontal screen in a vertical layout. Yeah. And I posted that video at 12:30. My fiance got home and I actually beat her to bed, which is good because that never happens when I'm recording videos.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was very quick. And I woke up the next morning, the video had 34,000 views. And I was like, this is like, maybe Mark was right. Maybe I am an idiot. Maybe I should just continue talking about this. And then I posted a video for Ali Abdaal that did 36,000 views. I did Caleb Ralston, who was on Alex Hormozi's team. That video did like 160,000 views. I did M on the Brain that got like 800,000 views. I did Colin and Samir that did like 8,000 views, but they commented on the post. And I was like, all right, wait, something's going on here. And I realized that, the way that I kind of talk about this is like the first question that I was asked when I applied for my first big boy job at this digital marketing company was like the everyday engineer question, like how many ping pong balls can fit in a bus? How many golf balls are there in Florida? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why are you asking me this question? Right? Like, why? What do you mean? I was fortunate enough to have somebody who worked at the company ask me that question as a test interview. And I was like, she asked me how many slices of pizza are consumed in the US every year. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know.
And what were they trying to
I'm
get
just a
at?
boy. I don't know, actually. But I got to an answer like in 30 seconds. And
they just wanted to see how you think.
They wanted to see how you think, right? But I actually think like it's a little bit deeper than that. It's like how, for what I do now, right? Like the answer to that question is there's no right or wrong answer, unless it's like the ping pong. You can do math to get to that answer. But like, for how many slices of pizza are you? Like, nobody knows. So why are we asking these questions? And I realized that, you know, those companies want to see how you think, but if you take it a step further, they want to see how willing you are to be wrong in public.
Okay.
Because there's no right answer to that question. And I realized that's what I was doing with the videos that I was making. I was like, oh, people can see how I think. There's no right or wrong answer. You can get to the answer a million different ways. But people want to learn more about your experience and like how you think about solving these problems and watch you do it live and show people how, like, you know, I guess courageous you are to actually be willing to be wrong in public. And the more I did that, the more I realized, like, this is why people get hired for big jobs. They arrive at wrong answers very quickly, or they're not scared to show that they can potentially be wrong. And when you do videos like that, there's a good chance you're going to be wrong sometimes. Like, you don't have the full context of somebody's business, but you can put it in a sequence that makes sense for other people watching. And in the event that you're right for the person you made the video about, they're a client. Yeah. Like, they're a client. So like, there's very little downside. But what's changed my life significantly in the past 12 months is just doing that over and over again, like answering questions that have no right answer and just showing people how I think about solving problems, but doing it publicly. And it's kind of like, you know, when you see something that you want, or you have this thing, like for you, it might be like a new plane, right? Like, you have this idea for a new plane that you want. You're like, you might go to an airport and you're looking out for like that plane model that you want. It's like, you start seeing it everywhere. It's like, I haven't seen this. Like, why am I now seeing it everywhere? It's because you started doing it yourself, or you started thinking about it. And as I started posting more and more of those videos, I saw other people doing it. When I tell people this story, they're like, of course, you have 192,000 followers. Like, of course it works for you, right? And I'm like, Mark called me an idiot. I'm about to call you an idiot, because I can give you 5 people right now who have less than 10,000 followers who are doing unbelievable things because they did the same thing. So,
because they're willing to be wrong in public.
Willing to be wrong in public. Yes, like this one woman, Ceci, she made a carousel of what she would do for if chess.com hired her for a merch line.
That's not getting the attention of a random creator who's definitely on Instagram. That's like a big brand.
Post-it notes commented, Lego commented, chess.com commented. She had less than 10,000 followers. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I followed her, I DM'd her, and I was like, can I put this in a keynote? Because I saw them comment. She's like, yeah, of course. And then a few weeks later, she messages me. She's like, by the way, I wanted to follow up. I'm doing the thing with chess.com. I'm like, what?
Because they said, yes, please. We'll take that.
And then I had somebody, I was teaching a ManyChat bootcamp maybe 8 months ago. And I was at the beginning stages of like launching this agency. And I made like an aside comment to my students, and I was like, I hate running an agency. Like, I just hate doing this work and also trying to manage this side of my life and also trying to move out and just getting engaged and like trying to manage all this. And one of the students who was like probably weeks 5 of 6, who was like far ahead in his homework, absolutely crushing it. He's like, hey, you made this comment 3 weeks ago. I spent the last 3 weeks trying to put together what I would do if I ran this agency for you. He's been a partner at the company ever since he posted the video.
Because he steps up and says,
right? Yeah. He's like, you know, some of the things I might not necessarily agree with in his proposal, but he was willing to do that, you know, publicly or not. Like, he was willing to be wrong. So, and those people, like, you know, the types of people who think they're going to be able to like change their life by doing this are the ones who just secretly DM you telling you that they can solve your problems, but they never do.
Right.
Like, it just goes to spam. So if there's one thing I encourage anybody to do, is just be willing to put yourself out there. It's how I ended up on your plane.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, who posts bucket list things?
Yeah, it's just like, it's very strange. And that'll take you to places where you like never would have imagined. It's true for me, and it's true for people who don't have, I have a small following compared to like everybody else. Like you can spend all day comparing yourself to other people, but it's not because I have 192,000 followers. It's because I just went out and did the thing, and most people don't. And you compare my life to where it was 12 months ago, it's very different. So, yeah.
That's amazing. What a note to end on.
That's right.
Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for teaching
of course.
The masterclass. If people want to go follow you on the internet, where should they go?
Yeah, it's my first name dot last name, Gannon.Meyer on Instagram. It's my first name, last name, no period on YouTube, and then LinkedIn. You probably don't know many Gannons, so just search my name and you'll find me somewhere. It's just a black and white photo. So
I like it. Thanks so much for coming on.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, you'll definitely want to check out my episode with Nicole Burke, where she shares how she turned Instagram into a $6 million business. She breaks down a really effective short form content strategy that you won't want to miss. Like the video if you enjoyed it, hit subscribe on YouTube or wherever you're listening, and I'll see you next week.